What's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm down at Carolina Auto Direct. We're going to take a look at their 2021 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392. So massive shout out to them for providing this vehicle for me today. Make sure you guys check out their website. They have a ton of awesome pre-owned inventory. I'll have all their information down in the description below. But the Wrangler that you see behind me is finished off in Hydro Blue Pearl, and it has a list price right around $97,000. So we're gonna start off today's review with what powers the all-new Rubicon 392. So up underneath the hood is the 6.4 liter Hemi V8 engine paired with the 8-speed automatic transmission. You'll also notice we have a functional hood scoop with Jeep's Hydro Glide, so all of that will provide maximum airflow to this all-new engine. It pumps out 470 horsepower around 6,000 RPM and 470 pound-feet of torque around 4,300 RPM. It does feature the full-time four-wheel drive system, weighs in right around 5,100 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. It'll do the quarter mile in 13 seconds, up to its top speed just under 100 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 21.5 gallons, and you can expect to see around 13 miles per gallon in the city and 17 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 118.4 inches. Its overall length is 188.4. It has a width of 73.8 and a height of 74.5 inches. And so now it's time to take a look at the exterior for this V8 Wrangler. Now there's not a whole lot of differences from a normal Jeep Wrangler. We do have that functional hood scoop, as I already mentioned, which will also help separate water from the intake. So if you're taking this off-road, you're going through creeks, water crossings, anything like that, not only will that provide better airflow to the engine, it will also help keep water out of the intake, which is awesome to see. But aside from that, we do have a steel front bumper. What I love about the Rubicon bumpers is the fact that you can take them apart. So you can loosen these if you'd like to take the corners off, maybe get a little bit more tire clearance, or just have a stubbier front bumper. So it's really nice how you can do that. We do have the traditional 7 vertical slats running throughout the grille, along with the LED headlights and LED DRLs. The turn signals are mounted on the side fenders, and from this angle here, you can see how aggressive the Wranglers are because we have a lot of tire that you can see. There's also cutouts in those bumper end caps too, just to see a little bit more of the tire. You can see the fog lights down below as well. And then up underneath, this does have skid plates, of course, to keep the front components protected. We have the 392 badge up on the hood, as well as these stops there. You can fold the windshield down if you'd like to, and it'll rest right there so it won't be on the paint. You can see Rubicon is spelled out on the hood as well. And as we work our way to the side profile now, this Rubicon has a 1-inch higher lift over a V6 Rubicon, so it does have more of a lift to it. This is the stock suspension as well. You can see the Fox shocks. These are the stock wheels. However, these are aftermarket tires. So these are 37 by 12.5 with a 17-inch wheel. You can see they are beadlock ready, have a really nice bronze finish to them, which also matches the tow hooks up front, as well as the 392 badge, the coloring around Rubicon, and even on Jeep. It's a really nice subtle touch, so we have a few different colors going on. You'll also notice that this model has some side steps, making it easier to enter and exit. This model has the 3-piece hardtop roof and body colored, which is a really nice feature to see. Of course, the doors come off. That's iconic for the Jeep Wranglers. It's very easy to do. I won't be doing that in today's video, but I'll link a few videos down below if you'd like to see how that is done. And then finishing up in the rear with the full-size spare, you can see the backup camera mounted right in the middle. This does have LED taillights and turn signals, really nice design to them. You'll notice that this does have a rear steel bumper along with parking sensors. Down below, there's also a tow hook. And then last up, this has the quad tip dual exhaust with the valve system, so you can actually keep that on or off. This does have remote start too. I believe the vehicle does have the exhaust on at the moment, so you can hear that. Pretty cool feature to see. Obviously, the remote start isn't anything new for the Wrangler, and you can double tap on that button too if you'd like to shut it off. But we'll go ahead and unlock the Jeep now. Take a look at this interior, where we have a combination of leather and some hard plastic. We have the release handle, as well as the side mirror adjustments and lock and unlock. There's also a lot of storage space in the lower section of the door with this net. And on the bottom side of the grab handle is the grab handle to take the doors off. So all you have to do is remove this kick plate here to unhook the electronics. There's also 1 bolt for the door hinge, the 2 on the outside. You can use that to help lift the door off, which is really nice to see. And as we make our way to these leather seats, you can see Rubicon 392. Really nice design to them. They are manual adjusting, so we have lumbar support, recline and incline, as well as the bar up front to slide them forwards and backwards. And now as we hop in with these 37s, we have that side step there. There's also a grab handle up top, so that makes it much easier to enter and exit. You'll see on the steering wheel here, we have a combination of solid and perforated leather. Really nice brushed aluminum trim pieces. Over on the right side is all the cruise and adaptive cruise control settings. So we have the distance pacing on the left side there. Over on the left side of the steering wheel, you can see the Bluetooth and voice commands, as well as all of these buttons to control that digital gauge cluster. Well, let's go ahead and fire up this V8 though with my foot on the brake. The engine start stop button is over on the right side. Let's hear this come to life. And coming back to the gauge cluster, you'll see on the left side is the TAC as well as the 4-wheel drive system. There's 4 high auto, 4 high part-time, neutral, and 4 low. Over on the right side is the miles per hour. And then right in the center, you can go through a lot of information, as I mentioned earlier, by using those buttons. You can see the trip information. We can look at audio, any messages that you may have. You can go into the screen setup, so you can adjust. In the upper left, you can see the compass, and the upper right is the outside temperature. You can change those just depending on what you'd like to see. You can also pull up the speedometer. We have some more vitals to scroll through, like your battery voltage, TPMS, and all of that information. You can look at your pitch and roll, different angles for off-roading, as well as your steering angle. You can look at the adaptive cruise, your fuel economy, and we are back to the trip information. So it's nice to have all of that right in front of you. You'll also notice too that this does have steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, as well as volume controls and tuning for the radio. Those are on the left side and the right side as well. On the left side of the steering wheel, you can see the headlight adjustments as well as the dimmer switches. We do have speakers up on the dash with a little bit of space right in the center. It's nice, you could place a phone or something small like that. Dash is covered in leather as well. We have a really nice trim piece running behind that too. And then right in the center is the upgraded 8.4-inch screen. A lot of information to go through on the system. You have presets down at the bottom. You can go into your climates, turn on all of that information, of course, and go through all of those different settings. You also have the controls for the heated seats as well as the heated steering wheel. Let's go ahead and pull up the backup camera so you can see that with the guidelines. Definitely a lot of graphics to see what's behind you. There's different apps that you can go into. You can actually drag and drop some of these to the bottom. So if you're off-roading a lot and you'd like to use the off-road pages, now you have a quick shortcut to it with it being down below. You can look at your steering angle, your 4-wheel drive system, go into some more vitals and pull them all up at the same time. You can even look at your pitch and roll. So it's really nice that you can configure the system depending on what you use the most. And we have a few other ones that you can look at. You can also pull up the navigation and view that in full screen. We have phone and different settings to go into. So it's a really easy system to use. It is water resistant as well. So we have this covering around it. So if you have the top off or the doors off and you get water in here, that just keeps it well protected. You'll also notice below that we have a lot more controls. We have power and volume for the radio as well as tuning. Fan speed is right in the center. We have the heated seats as well as the heated steering wheel and a few other recirc controls. You'll see just below that we have mute for the audio as well as the exhaust performance button. We have traction control as well as the parking sensors. There's a downhill assist control, and you can shut this screen off if you'd like to. So if you want it to be blank, we have all the window controls right in the middle. Since you can take the doors off, that's a great place for them. We have all of the media over here, so you can play your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You do have to hook that up for your media, of course. We have a 12 volt. The Rubicon also comes with front and rear lockers, so we have that control as well as the sway bar disconnect and all of these auxiliaries. So you could hook up light bars, compressors, anything like that, and have factory switches to utilize them. We also have the 4-wheel drive selector. So as I showed earlier with the auto, part-time, neutral, and 4 low, we have the gear selector, of course. Right in the center is the manual parking brake. We have 2 cup holders as well as a small storage spot. You can put the key fob or your phone, which is great to have. Right in the center, there are 2 compartments here. So we have the smaller one up top and then the larger one down below. You can see the USB as well as some cutouts here. So you can put your electronics or your cables through there so that way you can better charge them. You'll also notice too, we have plenty of room in the glove box for all of that information. We'll take one last look at these seats. And with the hardtop, you do have a lot of headroom. Really nice to see that amount of room. We have all the tabs here that you can take off to take the front 2 panels off. It's very quick and easy to do. We have that one latch right in the center. You can see the rear view mirror, of course. But now, let's go ahead and take a look at the back seats in the Wrangler. as we have this jump here because of those large 37-inch tires. Door panels finished off just like up front. We have the same connections to take these doors off. You'll also notice this webbing on the back side of the seat. There's a small net down below, but you could put some accessories here, maybe put some small tools there if you needed to. And with the front seat set at my height, you'll see I have plenty of room for my legs and my feet and a lot of inches above my head here. I have about 4 or 5 inches, so you can definitely be comfortable in the back seats of the Wrangler. You'll also notice too, we have the roll bar right in the middle along with the dome lights and a speaker on both sides. You can see more of the roll bar going all the way into the back. And then right in the middle, if I pull on this tab here, you can see we have the same cup holder design as up front, as well as a spot right in the middle where you could easily place your phone. So that is great to see if you don't have anyone in the middle. There's also a little bit of storage space down below, as well as a 3-prong outlet. We have the window controls and the air vents too. And you can also fold these seats down. So there's actually 2 tabs over on this side of the headrest. You can use the one to fold down the headrest by itself. Gives you a little bit more visibility if you don't have a backseat passenger. And then by using the second one, you can fold that seat down. Same with the passenger side. That gives you a lot more interior storage, which is great to see. And then last up, we'll take a look at the rear storage space. What's awesome to see is you can actually lock and unlock the vehicle with that handle too. So that makes it way more convenient. We can open that all the way up, and then from there you can lift up the rear glass to give you better access to the back area here. And you'll notice that this comes with the bag. This is for both of the front 2 pieces for the roof. You can actually take those off and strap them to the back of the seat here upright. So that still gives you plenty of space in the back. So it's really nice how you can bring those with you. And when you do have the doors off, you have a great place to put all of the bolts so you don't lose them. You have a little bit of storage space down below. There's even a drain plug on that right storage bin, so you can put in some wet items if you needed to. You'll see all the tie down hooks as well as a 12 volt. There's also the sub for the Alpine system. Definitely a lot of room, and then with the seats down, you can see that gives you an ample amount of storage space to put in any items. Use this truck as needed for whatever you'd like to place in the back. And then it's very easy to close up the back. We can just lower the glass and then swing the gate shut. All right, so getting the all-new Jeep Wrangler 392 out on the road now. There's really not a whole lot to talk about as far as the different changes aside from the engine. I used to own a Jeep Wrangler if you're new to the channel, and I loved it. I had the V6. I thought it had plenty of power. It was very fun to drive. I love taking the doors off. You know, the Jeep life aspects to owning a Wrangler. But now we have the more powerful V8 engine that I think a lot of Wrangler owners are going to be excited about and wanting to upgrade to get the V8, because who doesn't want a V8, especially in a vehicle like this? And I think the biggest benefit with having the V8 is, of course, a lot more power. I've been in even the turbo diesel engine that has a lot of torque. It almost has as much torque as this, but not nearly as much horsepower. And especially when you're running larger tires like these 37s, not only do you want more power, but you want better gearing. With the Rubicon, this comes with the Dana 44 axles. So we do have the larger, beefier axles, along with having better gearing and more power to handle and turn these 37s. So whether you're off-road or you're on the pavement, you're gonna have a lot more power. And it's so cool that we have the exhaust performance that you can turn on and off, and you can hear that too. So let's go ahead and pop it into the manual setting. Never thought I would do that for a Jeep Wrangler. We're gonna downshift and listen to that V8. What? Now the steering is still a little bit vague. You know, the Wrangler is not known for its handling or its performance, but now we have straight line performance and we have power to take this off-road. But wow, that's straight line performance. All right, that was from third gear. We gotta drop it down. That should not be happening in a Jeep Wrangler. That is pretty cool. I could see that power coming in handy, especially if you're going through the mud. You know, I've been off-road in my Wrangler, and sometimes you just need that extra oomph. You need that extra power to spin those wheels, and that's pretty awesome to hear in the Wrangler like this. Aside from that though, I don't think they've made the suspension a lot more beefier, of course, but steering is still, I mean, I can turn the wheel like this and not really move. So you do have that Jeep life. It's not the worst thing. I mean, I love my Jeep. I wish I could have another one at some point, just because they are fun. I get that Jeep life and being out on the road in one of these, much different than any other SUV out there, especially since you can take the roof and the doors off. We're gonna do a quick U-turn with these larger 37s. I'm surprised that we have plenty of clearance for these without even more of a lift. That's a quick Jeep. You're gonna have a ton of fun getting the V8 in this, and you're not gonna really worry about your MPG when you're having fun in your Wrangler like this. That's pretty awesome to see. But back to the tires, of course, that's a major plus with the Wranglers, being able to put on larger tires with a minimal lift. And with the stock suspension that this has, the 37s, they're 12.5 inches wide, so it's a pretty beefy tire for this setup, and it's awesome to see that you can put that on without having to do anything. Gives you a little bit more clearance too. I feel very high up on the road right now. I love the riding position or the driving position of the Wrangler. You're so high up, you can see the entire hood here. It just gives you a good presence when you're going down the road. Man, Jeeps are not known for being the quietest on the interior, and even with this exhaust with the performance on, I'm gonna shut it off, you can definitely hear a difference. So it's nice that you can shut that off, especially if you're out on the highway doing 60, 70 miles an hour. Maybe you want that, maybe you don't. So it's nice that you have the option to change it up if you need to. All right, so now that we're out on the road behind the wheel of the Wrangler Rubicon 392, I'm gonna talk briefly real quick about visibility. It's very easy to see all around because of all of this glass. It provides a lot of light. You have a lot of glass in that back cargo area there. So visibility is really not an issue in this vehicle. And then of course, once you take the roof, the doors off and everything, you have a much better 360-degree view. But being behind the wheel here, just like any other Wrangler, like the V6 Wrangler that I owned, it's a very nice place to be. The Wrangler is such an iconic vehicle, and it's awesome to see that Jeep has finally listened to their owners as far as upgrading the engine, providing it with more power, giving it this V8 engine. So we'll get up to speed here like we are merging into traffic, use these paddles here. And just like that, we are up to speed. That was with the performance exhaust off. So let's toggle that switch. You'll see it on the gauge cluster there change. I never thought I would be doing this in a Wrangler. One more gear to go. That sounds so good. Now, even coming around a turn like this, like I mentioned earlier, the steering input is not the greatest. It is a Wrangler, it does have 37s on it, but that's to be expected. You're not buying this for the performance necessarily as far as the handling goes, you know, driving out on the roads. This is more geared towards having that performance for off-road. We have the larger tires for more clearance, for more height. We have more power to get those tires turning when you're off-road. Now, straight line performance like this is great. It has a lot of power. Coming around these turns though, I mean, it's what you'd expect in a Jeep. Don't let that deter you from buying a Jeep. Just know that it's not performance oriented for taking turns and things like that. But we do have the power to get up and moving, which I think is pretty fun, especially in a Wrangler. I don't know if the camera will hear some of the road noise, some of the wind noise. That's to be expected. But I love it. The Jeeps are fun. And that was one thing, that was one thing with mine, is it definitely lacked power. It needed a little bit more power. And those paddles are very responsive. I'm impressed with how they are, even though they're half paddles here. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool to see. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for my walk around review and test drive, getting behind the wheel of the all new 2021 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392. Once again, massive shout out to Carolina Auto Direct. Make sure you guys check them out. All that info is down below. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button if you'd like to stay up to date with our daily uploads. And I will see you guys in the next video.